Hello, and welcome to this Joyful Minds video, recorded as part of the January 2021 Joyful Minds Transformation Summit. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe for more, and drop your thoughts and comments in the section below. Hi everyone. For those of you who haven't met me yet, my name's Sarah Watts. I'm a transformational coach and founder at Joyful Minds. And I'm hosting this transformation summit across the week to showcase a number of different tools and techniques and different approaches all around how you can make changes in your life if you're feeling called to do so. We've already had some great sessions to kick off the week. Yesterday we had the hero's journey, we talked about NLP, and this morning we've been talking about mindfulness. And today we're going to be talking about women's circles. And I feel like I am starting to get the hang of this technical stuff. So do give me a thumbs up and say hello if you're watching live, and drop a hashtag live. And if you're watching on catch up, then do say hello or hashtag replay. I'm just trying to see who's watching. I can see a few of you are. Hi Sam, hi So Young, hi Anna. Thanks for joining. Yeah, do and Shahhead, lovely, and the other Samantha, hello. Thanks so much for joining me. So today we're going to be talking about women's circles. I really just want to talk to you about the journey that I've been on, how I found out about women's circles, and now what my offering to you will be. And before I start, I do want to just sort of talk to the point of noting that it's for women. So there are men's circles available, and all you need to do is just do a simple Google search for men's circles, and you will see that there are lots of men's circles available. Jim, you're very welcome still to listen in, because it's relevant if you want to join a men's circle. Hi Caroline, hi Anna. If you want to just understand a little bit more about what circles are, it's an interesting decision to make as to whether to hold mixed circles or specifically men or specifically women. And for now, my offering will be for women. But as I said, there is an opportunity for men to join men's groups. Thanks, Jim. And maybe at some time in the future, I might offer mixed ones. Certainly, my retreats are available to men and women, and are founded on a lot of the principles around circles. So yeah, I just wanted to call that out really and be really clear. But do feel free to listen. And you might find that there are women in your life joining circles, and you want to know what they're up to, and that's absolutely fine as well. So I'd like to start by taking the opportunity for us to get present and settle into the moment. It felt fitting to start today's session in that way, and also lovely that we're obviously building on what we learned from David earlier on. So I'd like to invite you all to close your eyes and take a few deep breaths and just get really comfortable. And allow any muscles that are maybe strained or aching just to relax. Relax the shoulders. Keep taking some deep breaths, centering yourself into your chair, grounding yourself into the floor with your feet, and feeling that connection with the earth underneath you. And just becoming aware of your mind, all the thoughts that are floating around in them. And just become aware of those, and know that your mind might be busy with things from this morning that you've been doing, and maybe you've got lots of things you're juggling at the moment, and you might be thinking about what you've got on this afternoon. And just allow those thoughts to move to one side, and just know that you can get back to them at the end of the session. And give yourself the gift of being present in this moment, to listen to the talk and gain from it whatever it is you've set the intention to gain from joining today. And I'd like to invite you to drop your attention from your mind, the thinking, analysing, figuring everything out mind. Just allow that attention to dissolve down into your heart and your heart space. If it helps to put your hand on your heart, then please do so. And just connect now with this heart of yours, this beating heart that was a gift to you, that's been with you your whole life, and has this really powerful ability to love and to give. Strong, powerful, kind heart, passionate heart, knowing heart, intuitive heart. And just allow your attention to rest here for a moment. And allow that loving heart energy just to fill up the space around you. And enjoy its warm glow. And then let's send that warm glow out into the world, meeting the people that we know and love in our own lives and people we don't know all around the world. When you're ready, open your eyes and join me back here. Doesn't that feel better? Okay, let's start talking about Circle then. I'm going to share my screen because I've got a couple of slides just to talk to you about circles. Okay. So my call to Circle. So my personal development journey started quite a long time ago. I've always been very aware of myself and other people. As I've said before, my background is in HR, so I've always been interested in what makes people tick. And, also my motivation for going into HR was to take care of people and for it to be a happy relationship between employees and a business. And, I became very aware of myself during that period of time and some of the unhelpful thoughts and patterns that I'd gotten myself into. And around the time when I had my children, I really started to focus quite strongly on my own personal development because I felt strongly that I wanted to be the best version of myself for them. And I think I also was a mother with young child, juggling, lack of sleep, and all of the tests that come along with that. And I wanted to try to be able to enjoy my life experience without being impacted on by external events or situations. And so it kind of really catapulted my personal development journey. And so I really became interested to learn about how we could understand what triggers us into those unhelpful emotional states, how to manage my emotions better. And, I guess a kind of cognitive way of understanding that human development journey. And over the last couple of years, that journey has taken me on an increasingly spiritual route where I've been really wanting to explore a deeper connection with myself, more self-reliance on my own intuition, and also to really be in a space with other heart-centered and heart-focused people and build genuinely genuine deep connections with other people. And so along this journey, one of the things that came up for me was circles. Because the more I've learned about that now, circles really answer all of those, the call to all of those questions. But I didn't really know what circles were. And a friend of mine had started to run circles, and she sort of talked to me about, why don't you come along? and join in for one. And it was during just when lockdown had started. And so her circles had gone online, they'd gone virtual, whereas previously she was holding them in real life, which meant that I couldn't go. So I really didn't know what to expect, but I went along. And what I experienced there was, really quite profound, because I didn't know the women, on the call. One or two of them I'd met previously, but I didn't really know them. And what I found was such a profound, deep connection with these otherwise, strangers. And it really got me interested in this power of, a group of people with the same intention to share space with each other, and to share an experience with each other. And it completely blew me away. And my friend suggested to me that maybe I explore holding circles of my own. And I went along to the Wild Woman Project virtually again. This is based in America, founded by a lady called Chris Maddox. And I did my circle leadership training last year. And it's such a profound experience that's quite difficult to describe, but I'm going to try and do that for you today. And with the invitation that if this feels like something that resonates with you, that you feel called to explore further, that you obviously are able then to do that. So the history of women's circles. So the research says that, circles are have been around in human history for as much as 30,000 years. It's bonkers, really, when we think about it. Cave arts and paintings have demonstrated that people have gathered in circle. And probably that would have been around a fire. Probably they would have been sharing stories. We know how important stories are for capturing traditions and, social norms and all of those kind of things. So it's a very old practice to gather in circle. And also, we know that the practice of moon lodges and red tents would have taken place. They still do in some cultures. And this is where women go to retreat to during menstruation. And it's somewhere where they gain intergenerational support. It's usually women, grandmothers, mothers, girls, all gathering together in these lodges and tents to really share their female experience, their feminine experience, and to provide support and guidance, to each other. And then around the time of about 6 to 4,000 years ago, community started shifting, where structures started to shift away from more intuitive ways of thinking to more cognitive ways of thinking, and also a shift away from, this kind of egalitarian way of communicating to a more hierarchical structure. And circles started to decline around that time. And then the research, this may well not be be 100% accurate, but around the 1980s, it seems like the feminist movement really rekindled women's circles. I have heard talks around them being rekindled in the 60s and 70s as well, but I think it really took off around the 1980s, certainly in the form of women's circles that we see now. And it was a movement that was really designed to try and bring back a focus on feminine energy. And recognizing that we can spend a lot of our time trying to be in that masculine energy of doing, of achieving, of striving, of action, everything all around the doing, and that we've kind of lost that balance with the being. And this is probably true for men too, right? Because we have, feminine and masculine energies in all of us. But recognizing for women, this need to kind of come back to that feminine energy of just being, and also sharing space with other women. So moving away from situations where, we've got this sort of competition and comparison, and trying to get ahead, that type of thing, and moving more to a place where we're supporting of each other, we're more equal with each other, and dropping all of that kind of unhelpful focus. And circles now, you'll hear, I hear it in lots of different areas in business. There's ways of working which involve circles, listening circles, circle-based project meetings, academic circles. Also, Sheryl Sandberg, who wrote the book around Lean In, she also has suggested, and there's resources available to do Lean In circles. And so, and women's and men's circles, like I mentioned. So there's really been this sort of explosion of the idea of gathering in this sort of equal, helpful, supportive way. And well, there are still Indigenous groups that meet in circles and never stopped meeting that way. But for some of us, this feels very new. So that's the history of how circles have come about, at least in the form that we recognize now. And so attending circles, so let me just tell you a bit more about what it is, because it gets talked about in this sort of abstract way. So circles are usually held on the new moon. And the new moon is the part of the moon cycle which is hidden. And so this is symbolic of us using an opportunity to go within, to be still, to kind of retreat, if you like, from the world, and use and create some space and silence for ourselves. Circles are co-created by the women who attend them. And this is really important because each circler has the responsibility to co-create that space in the manner that we intend for it. And there are some sort of sacred rules, and those are around confidentiality, first and foremost. So nothing that is said in circle can ever be shared outside of circle. Women who want to share their own experiences are very welcome to do that. But we certainly would not want anyone sharing someone else's experience, so the space that's created is a safe one for women to share whatever they feel they need to share at that point. And also, anyone is accepted in whatever situation, frame of mind, emotion that they're experiencing. So there's no right or wrong way to be in circle. This isn't a place where you feel you have to be or do anything other than to be yourself. And also, there's no advice. So women aren't coming here for fixing or healing, although healing may occur. It's more of a place where we honor and respect that all women are resourceful, creative, and whole. And therefore, in sharing whatever they have going on for them at that moment, or any of the insights and intuition that they receive in that moment, it is exactly what it needs to be. So there's no advice, there's no judgment, there's no criticism, and it is a confidential and safe space. And how amazing is that? Can you think of any spaces that exist where that happens, where you can take off any mask that you're wearing, really take off any armor that you've armored up with, and put down any bags that you're carrying. You can switch off the laptop, switch off the phone, and then just join together in this lovely space with other women. And what happens in circle is we have two different styles of circle, and I like to incorporate both. So one is structured and one is unstructured. So the unstructured part of circle is where we just share where we are right now. So it might start with a poem or an oracle card or something like that, and women just, and there's no expectation for you to share if you don't feel comfortable to, but if you want to share, you're able to share what's going on for you in your life at that moment, what challenges are you experiencing, what reflections are you having, what learnings are you having about life, about your life experience. And then there's the structured element of Circle, and this is where we'll go through a guided meditation or a guided visualization. And usually the purpose of that is to seek some intuition and guidance from ourselves, and we will share in that guided meditation, and then you can share what came up for you. And then usually we finish with a intention setting, so intention for the month or the lunar cycle ahead, off the back of the guidance that you've received. And we often have themes to our circle just to give some structure to it. So themes might include things like love, the unbounding, unendless love, heart connection, elements of nature. It could be anything, ancestral wisdom, it could be relationships. But a theme allows us to have some focus for the session. And these circles would happen monthly. And so what's interesting is that when I was on training, and also my own experience around Circle, is that women aren't always able to say exactly why they feel called to go and attend a Circle, but when they do, they have an unexpectedly profound and deep experience when they do so. And I wanted just to try and capture some of the benefits here, and these are the benefits that I've experienced for myself and have heard from other circlers as well. So the first one is connection with yourself, first and foremost. I feel like, in life today, it's very easy to become disconnected. We're so busy, we've got so many things to try and juggle, the digital noise, social media, emails, everything is so busy and so loud, and the demands on us can be so great, and I think that it can be very disconnecting. And so this opportunity in Circle is to reconnect with yourself, is to recenter, to bring the focus back to yourself and your inner guidance and your heart, and you often leave feeling much more centered as a result of that. The second one is around intuition. Intuition, as many of you know, is a muscle that we need to practice in order for it to become stronger. I know that certainly my younger self spent a lot of time putting importance on what other people would say and what other people would think, and often trying to get guidance from other people and advice from other people. And over the years, I've learned, and still practicing, this art of intuition, this guidance from myself, the wisdom from myself, and really connecting with what's true for me and what feels true and what comes from my heart. And often, in order for us to really strengthen this muscle around intuition, we have to give ourselves the space and the silence to really listen. And Circle gives us an opportunity to do that. The third one is community. The idea that we're joining together in a community of like-minded, like-hearted people. And as I said, it really blows me away how deep those bonds can be created. And also it kind of strikes me the intention that we set to create those bonds, the intention that we set to show up as our authentic self, that helps to create those deep bonds. We don't have to necessarily be from the same backgrounds or the same journeys in life, or even at the same point in life. We can have very different experiences, but join together, in Circle with other people who have set the intention to be their authentic self, and we will build those deep connections. And then the last one is healing, or also it could be learning. There's something really powerful about witnessing others and allowing ourselves to be witnessed. It's something I learned quite a while ago, a few years ago now, but I wish I'd learned it sooner, that we think that all our own problems are our own. We think it's just us. And sometimes it can feel a very individual, lonely experience, can't it, when we're with our problems, or our suffering. And what I've learned, and what you learn through witnessing and listening to the stories of others, is that we all suffer the human condition. Our humanity does unite us. And when we listen to the stories of others, we learn not only that it's not just us, but we join together in sharing the experience and the journey that person's been on. And then on the flip side, talking about and sharing about what's going on for ourselves, verbalizing the thoughts and emotions that we're experiencing into words, and for those to be witnessed. And when we show up as our authentic self, being witnessed as that, is hugely powerful, and really can help with deep learning and deep healing. So that's what you can expect if you come along and attend Circle. No pressure. Obviously, everyone has their own experience, but this is sharing certainly my experience and the experiences of others that I have been speaking with. And so just want to talk about the Wild Women Project, which is the group of people who I trained with. As I said, they're based in America, founded by a lady called Chris Maddox, who's been running circles and training circle leaders for years and years and years. And she has some kind of fundamental principles on which all of our training is built. And the first one is this nature, this word around being wild, living in a state of nature. Wild, when you look it up in the dictionary, is often referred to in kind of negative connotations. Words like uncivilized, uninhabitable, inhospitable, when really, we kind of lose track of our true nature in our hearts, and this idea that returning back to the wild is really returning back to our true nature, and living in a way that's congruent with who we are. And then women, as I said before, it's kind of reconnecting with the being, the feminine energy of being, rather than the masculine energy of doing. And I talked earlier on at the start around whether or not to hold women's circles just for women, or to have mixed circles and men. I think what we honor in this to this point is that as women, if we can resource ourselves, we can fill up our own buckets, then we can return back to our families, our other halves, our children, in a way that's much more, much stronger and much more centered. And perhaps we wouldn't be relying on them to meet as many needs as we might have done otherwise. We can be our true selves. And so the ripple effects do go much further and wider, than just the women in Circle. And then this word around project, which is to make something, really create something. We create something when we circle together. We co-create a space when we circle, but we're also able to create something in our own lives. And I believe that to be true when we live in our, true nature and heart. We live congruently with what's important to us, and we're really able to create in our own life a reflection of who we really are. If you'd like to get in touch, drop me an email or contact me on one of the social media platforms. And if you'd like to find out more information about working with me, check out the services that I offer on my website, joyfulminds.co.uk, and I look forward to meeting you soon.